Alright, kids, here we are. This is going to be the all-Riddle extravaganza. We're gonna take care of all of the Riddler stuff now. And what I did is I went ahead and I got everything taken care of. And then I cut the footage up, so I'm just gonna talk over it. I did the same thing in Arkham Asylum. But in Arkham Asylum, there was, I don't know, about 1,000,000 less, things to do than there was in this one. That's the problem with Arkham Knight here, is, yeah, sure. So, you know, there's tons and tons of riddles and stuff to find. But what the big problem is that most of these involve puzzles. A good majority. So this is going to be a several video long extravaganza as we get all of these different riddle things. And I sort of go all over the place. I don't just, you know, start off with Bleak Island and move forward. Now, you need to, at least near the beginning of getting your riddle stuff, you have to do one of the riddles that involves taking down these robots. So that Batman here will do this. He grabs this little chip, and then now...
This chip will let me mimic Riddler signals and give commands to his robots.
Yeah, see, now we can use the voice synthesizer and use his robots. We can command them, which is something that will happen a lot. And see, there's the little thing. You have to kill all 5 of those robots very quickly, and that what that does is that unlocks the little... I don't know what you would call it. He has all these Riddler trophies in, like, these little cages, I guess. Like, a cage would probably be sufficient for it. Mostly I'm going to be running around getting a lot of the trophies. There's no, like, specific pattern that I do. And it's going to take quite a bit of time here as we head through and get all this shit. I do start with the Panacea Studios because I remember I had gathered several of the trophies when we were here previously during the story. So I figured this would be a good place to start since I got more trophies here than I did in any other area. Now this in particular, this is probably the dumbest. Like, you gotta send the remote control Batarang through this little electricity thing up here, but then you gotta come all the fucking way over through this window, and, like, it's like some of these are, like, really, like, difficult. Like, you know, you're gonna have quite a bit of trouble just trying to figure this shit out on your own all the time. But here we go. There's the door open, and now let's go get, like, 10 more of these riddle shits. Here's another one of these that are pretty easy. See, a good number of the riddle puzzles, I guess, are pretty difficult, but some of them are also very, very simple and only require just a little bit of trial of an error. And all the concept art, all the character showcases, they're all pretty much tied to the riddle trophies and the actual riddles themselves. And then there's lots of collectibles.
You have solved over 20% of my riddles. Congratulations! 20%? Unfortunately, you've now reached what I call the stupidity threshold. In layman's terms, my little layman, they were the easy ones.
Oh, you don't say, Riddler. Back in Arkham Asylum, if you guys remember, the only real collectibles were the Joker teeth, and they were spread out all over, but they were very annoying because you could not see them on your map. Like, we spent so much time over this playthrough pounding on the Riddler informants, which is good because now, as a benefit, we have all of the Riddler stuff on the actual map, including the breakables, which were never able to get on the map in Arkham Asylum. Now, in Arkham City, there actually was more than just the teeth. I remember there were cameras in the city, there's teeth in the sewers, there's like these little penguin things. There's just a lot of different things to get. And here in Arkham Knight, it's pretty similar. Although, as we'll see in a little bit, you know, they do their traditional must force the Batmobile into everything. So a lot of the breakables on the outside in the islands, we actually have to use the Batmobile to break those. We saw that, actually, the video started with us getting one of those. And there's us putting the voice synthesizer to good work.
Is that possible? They're not supposed to obey orders from anyone with a sub-150 IQ.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder, what is Batman's IQ? It would have to be very, very high. I mean, he is basically the greatest detective in history. I still maintain, if we're gonna do a detective battle, I'm gonna take Batman over Sherlock, but the Sherlock from that new BBC show, he is pretty beast. So, Batman, oh man, that would be such a good confrontation. I'm pretty sure, isn't there actually an animated movie, Batman vs. Sherlock Holmes? I'm pretty sure there is. I'm gonna have to go check that out. And I'll have to give you guys the lowdown on how good that is. Oh, here we go.
Batman, it's time I went easy on you. This next riddle has been calibrated to offer a challenge comparable to a popular child's game. I call it Riddler Says.
Alright, so it's just like Simon Says. Easy enough.
The rules are simple. Hit the switches that match the colors you see in the order in which you see them. Easy. Enjoy.
Alright, so this is a relatively easy puzzle. Whoops! Almost fucked up there, but we got it.
Why didn't you fall for it? How did you know?
How did you know?
Of course. You can't read. I overestimated you yet again. Even so, it gets harder from here. From here.
So see, it's just kind of a trick. He tries to trick you by having a color and then the name of the color, but you just don't fall for it, and it's like, whatever. Fuck you, Riddler. Of all of the riddle areas, I would have to say the Arkham Knight HQ definitely is the most difficult of all the different places we have to go to. Mainly because those are, a lot of them involve the Batmobile, which becomes a real pain in the dick. I mean, the Batmobile riddles are always just very, very frustrating.
Batman, but every riddle whittles away at your pitiful brain cell supply. I am puzzling you into oblivion. Here's your reward.
And then this, of course, this is the room where we did the little singing bomb puzzle with Johnny Charisma. Aha, and yes, there's his character showcase unlocked. Just gotta get these hearts lined up. Oh, I should mention, I recently watched all of the episodes of Dragon Ball Super. Obviously, I'm a giganto Dragon Ball fan in every way. A lot of people don't like Dragon Ball GT, but me, I just see Goku and my eyes light up. I love it. Dragon Ball Super is actually pretty solid. I would have to say it's better than I even expected, to be honest. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And it looks like it's going to be on every Sunday for the foreseeable future. But unfortunately, the only problem with it is that it is, at least at the start, it's following the plot line of the Battle of the Gods movie. And then I know they're going to be following the Resurrection of Frieza movie after they're done with the Battle of the Gods. And then here, this is a odd puzzle. You need the Freeze Blast to do this, which makes a little bit of sense since the Panacea Studios here, this is where you actually do get the Freeze Blast. So I do understand, like, using it in here. But some of these puzzles are just, like, very, very odd. Like, that was really weird. Just toss ice to stop the steam over and over again. It's like, alright, whatever. But yeah, Dragon Ball Super. So it's going to go through Battle of the Gods. It's going to go through Resurrection of Frieza. And then after that, it is going to have an entirely new storyline, I guess, that's going to follow with the aftermath of the Resurrection of Frieza storyline. So I am pretty excited for that. Resurrection of Frieza was pretty solid. I did like that. I saw that, obviously. Pretty solid film. Now this is one of those real kooky puzzles here too, in that you need to lower this platform thing. Then you just toss a little of the explosive gel on it. And then we will send it back up, and we can use it to break that wall up there, and then we can just grapple up there. Wablam. Now, this is another riddle that I know gave people a lot of trouble, in particular my friend Dion. You actually need to buy the upgrade so that your disruptor can sabotage the mines in order to get this. You can't, like, brute force it or anything. You actually have to use the disruptor to get rid of those mines in order to get this Riddler trophy. Python drone, interesting. One thing I do like is that, so the Lion Launcher, I know in Arkham City, it actually is a upgrade that you have to purchase, to where you could jump onto the wire like this. But here in Arkham Knight, you actually start out with it. Oh, you know, speaking of the Freeze Blast, so I noticed that they actually put Batman and Robin on Netflix recently, and, you know, I was curious. Obviously, when I was a child, I saw it a million times, and I was obsessed with that movie. Like any, you know, 8 or 7-year-old was at the time, you know. Big colors, flashing lights, superheroes. How could a child not love that? And, yeah, it's, you know, way worse than I even remembered. I can understand why that almost killed superhero films entirely.
My riddles solved, but at what cost? This is a war of attrition, Detective. I'm burning through your brain cells like so much cheap kindling, and I'm warming my hands on the blaze.
Okay, so that's 25% of the riddles done. That's not bad. 25% already, huh?
Burning ambition. Prove he made movies before his ignition.
But yeah, like, Mr. Freeze, his one-liners are absolutely atrocious in that movie. And I just have to say, like, you know, Chris O'Donnell, nothing against him, but I absolutely fucking hate him as Robin. I think he is a terrible Dick Grayson. He just is a whiny little bitch to me every single time. I hate him. And I'm also, to be honest, I'm also not the biggest fan of their rendition of Batgirl. Oh, we'll get back to that in a second. But here, I just show off that we did complete Panacea Studios. And you can see that there really was not a lot of riddles in the studios at all. And we unlock interview tapes of Harley Quinn. Now, what I'm going to do is, we're going to listen to all of these Riddler tapes, or not Riddler tapes, but all the interview tapes. We're going to listen to those when we get all of them, and after we take down Scarecrow and the Riddler, and all the villains. Right before we finish the game, we're actually going to listen to all the interview tapes, and we'll go through the GCPD, and we will check out, you know, all of the evidence in that evidence room, because they've got all of those interesting different exhibits. Alright, and now we are on the Stag airships. I decided to take out the two places that don't require the Batmobile, since the Batmobile annoys me quite so much. And then after that, we will go have a gander at the outside world with lots of Batmobile. Alright, so yeah, Batgirl in Batman and Robin, I don't like her. The other thing that's very annoying is they changed it. Rather than being Commissioner Gordon's daughter,
Simon Stagg, open.
she's actually a relative of Alfred. Which, I like it better that she's related to Commissioner Gordon. Because, like, look at Arkham Knight here. How it turns out, when she gets captured, how it creates a little bit of tension between Batman and Commissioner Gordon. Like, that's pretty cool. But that's not something that could ever really happen, I think, with Batman and Alfred. Although that does happen in The Dark Knight Rises, but that's only because Alfred is just trying his best to get Batman to not be Batman. Or rather, I should say Bruce Wayne to not be Batman. The Dark Knight Rises, I love that movie so much, but there are definitely big problems. The best Batman film, of course, is The Dark Knight, with Heath Ledger as Joker. A lot of people are really big fans of Mask of the Phantasm, which, again, I mentioned earlier in the playthrough that I just watched that recently, was not quite as good as I remembered, but it was still pretty solid. I was a little disappointed that she survives at the end. I remember the Phantasm dying at the end, but she lives. And then, I recently was watching a little bit of that Justice League show, and how they really get into it at the end of how Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis, he is actually, it's really weird, but he is technically Batman's son, his genetic son. They do, like, this weird shit where they copy his genetic material, Bruce Wayne's, and, like, they put it into, a young couple that are similar to, what Batman's parents were like, and then I believe it's Amanda Waller, the lady that gets the Suicide Squad together. She then hires a killer to take out Terry McGinnis' parents so that he will become a new Batman and create similar conditions. And the assassin she supposedly hires is actually the Phantasm. But she decides not to go through with it because she realizes how fucked up Batman is. I remember in the Mask of the Phantasm, that's what I always thought was a little bit annoying, was that Batman, because of that girl, the Phantasm, he is ready to not be Batman just for her. And I was like, oh, come on. No, that shits on what Batman's about, man. Come on. Yeah, here's one of the easiest riddles there is. Thank you. So difficult. You know, rather than Batgirl in another Batman movie, who I would really like to see is Oracle. I feel like Oracle could be a really interesting character. I remember there was a rumor that Oracle might actually be in Batman vs. Superman, which would be really fucking cool. I would love to see Oracle, because they show that scene in the trailer where Ben Affleck is walking in the Batcave, and you've got they have the Robin suit on display, and the Joker wrote "The joke's on you, Batman" on the Robin suit. So obviously there was a little bit of a problem there, and people are theorizing that the reason the Batman retired in that film universe is because the Joker killed Robin, which definitely does seem pretty interesting. And see, the collectible in this area, the breakable, is a little strange. These little insect crates. I have to admit, I don't really understand what the purpose of destroying these little crates would be. Like, they probably could have thought of a better one than that, but oh well.
Congratulations. You found one of the easy ones. Congratulations.
As we find more and more of these trophies too, the Riddler, he starts talking more and more shit. For almost no reason, but whatever. Primates. Oh boy, I wonder if this is going to be another monkey puzzle. That one wasn't too tough. I think we did a much more difficult one earlier on in the playthrough when we were at the Stag airships. That wasn't quite so bad at all.
Simon Stagg, open.
Now this is an interesting use of the voice synthesizer. We have a couple of turrets over there, and so we use the voice synthesizer and we get this big-ass crate to destroy the turrets. Because the way the angle of this corner is, I don't believe you can use the remote hacking device. Plus, there's actually two turrets anyway. And the remote hacking device, you can only use it on one turret at a time. Alright, so this is a little bit of a strange puzzle. You need to hit this question mark all the way on the right here. And I guess I must have just thrown the remote batarang too quickly as soon as I activated it. So kind of just want to spin this around until that last question mark becomes active again. Got it. The cloud burst. Oh, Scarecrow.